Hello Year 5, welcome back. This is your second English lesson of the week. It's all about creating a plan for your own poem. How exciting. Today we're going to be looking at specifically creating a word bank about your planet. Right, let's get into it.
So this is the start task for this lesson. I want you to have a look at these sentences and figure out which of these verbs are correct. So I want you to write down the sentence and place in the correct verb. So pause the video here for me, and it's now your turn. Okay, so I hope you've had some time to correctly place in these verbs, and now it's time to check through your answers. So the first one was I was running to the shop. The second one was the stars were shooting across the sky. The third one was the old man groaned at the noise. The fourth, I laughed. And the fifth, I was drinking. Now, the words that end in ed are past simple verbs. Now, these are all to do with verb tensing, and that shows an action that has happened and has been completed in the past. And then the other ones that are ing ending were past continuous verbs. Now, this shows an action that has happened in the past and has continued to another point in the past. And it often describes an action that might have been interrupted by something else. I hope that makes a little bit more sense for you when coming to look at ing ending and ed ending verbs. Okay, let's get into this week's lesson. So we are going to use figurative language to describe space. So we're going to be looking at planets, Roman mythology, and we're going to be creating a word bank like I mentioned earlier. Now, by the end of the week, we will be writing a poem about one of the planets. However, we need to make sure that we have a good and solid plan first. I want you to have a look at these pictures and think about what do they have in common. So pause the video here and have a think for me. Okay, welcome back. Hope you've had some time to think about what these pictures might have in common. And now I'm going to tell you. So all of these pictures are to do with Venus, as we have the goddess of love on the right-hand side and the planet Venus. Now, I want you to think about this question for me. How could you use the Roman goddess of love to help us? Pause the video here and have a think about that for me. Okay, welcome back. Hope you had some time to think about that question. Now, we could use the Roman goddess of love to help us with our poem because we could make a clear comparison between the goddess of love and the planet Venus. We could use what the Roman goddess of love does in her actions or what she looks like when we are comparing it to the planet Venus. And that could obviously be with all the other planets we are using as well when we compare them to their Roman god or goddess too. Okay, now I want you to think about this question for me. It might be a little bit odd or a bit strange, but what could each of these circles be? Now I've completed 2 for me and I'd like you to complete the other 6. So you can either write a list of nouns that these circles could be, or you could draw your circles on a piece of paper and create pictures for me. So what could each of these circles be? So obviously I've got a tyre and a clock. So I want you to pause the video here and answer that question for me. So I want you to come up with about 6 things that these circles could represent. So pause the video here, it's now your turn. Okay, welcome back. Hope you've had some time to think about what these circles could be. And I'm going to show you all the things I thought that they could be. So obviously we have a tyre and a clock. I thought it could be a diamond or a flower. It could be like a disco ball or maybe like a mirror. We've got an eye, a marble, a flaming torch or some fire. We've got a shield, a whirlpool, a compass, a coin, a firework, or like a magnifying glass. So I would suggest writing all of these words down for me or drawing them into your circles, because this will help you when it comes to describing or creating a word bank for your chosen planet later on. So pause the video here and write those words down for me. Okay, brilliant. And I hope as well that you have got some really interesting ideas for what these circles could be as well. That might be even better than mine. So now I've thought about what words I could use to describe the goddess Luna and the moon. So I've got three different word classes I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using nouns, adjectives, and verbs. The nouns I'm going to use from this page here. So I'm going to use some of these to help me. And I'm also going to consider from the pictures here I've got to help me as well, what the goddess Luna could be doing. For adjectives and verbs, I've got word mats that will be at the ends of the slides that I've used to help me as well with planning my word bank as well. So I'm now going to remove the picture. And so my nouns I've used, I've got moon, orb, protector, and explorer. Now those two words I've considered what the goddess Luna could be doing. She looks like she's protecting the moon there, but she could also be exploring. Now you could think about what the moon could be doing. It goes all over the world, doesn't it? It orbits around the earth, and it could be exploring different parts, finding new things. I've got compass and clock, and I've also got mirror. I've used a disco ball, but I've kind of changed that a little bit as well. I've got adjectives. I've got radiant, ethereal, hidden, shining, glowing, enchanting, and mystical. Now I'm going to consider some of my adjectives there. I think hidden and shining and glowing, those three adjectives are fine, but I know that they could be enhanced, they could be up-leveled. So I could think about going back to those words, maybe at the end, and up-leveling them after I've had a look at different adjectives from the word maths. And I've got some verbs. I've got shines, absorb, floats, protects, orbit, twirls, and dances. So that is my word bank of ideas about the goddess Luna and the moon. Now you will have 4 different planets to choose from. You'll have Venus with the goddess of love. You'll have Mars with the god of war. You'll have Jupiter with Zeus, the god of lightning, or in quotes, the god of gods, and Neptune, the god of sea or Poseidon. Now you can come back to these slides and write down your heading at the top. You could do a nice big kind of fancy heading for your word bank for your plan for the next couple of days. Or if you really want to, you could draw these pictures so you have them ready to go. So you will have these 4 planets to choose from. For this lesson, for Chili 1, I'd all like you to start at Chili 1 for me. So I'd like you to create a list of nouns and adjectives to describe your chosen planet. Then Chili 2, I want you to include verbs into your list. So think about what your planet and your god or goddess could be doing as well. And Chili 3, I want you to evaluate the words you've used. Could you enhance any of them? Could you up-level these words you've used and make them even better? So the following slides, like I said before, will have word mats for you to use that will support with your word banks as well. So I'm just going to flick through them. Pause them at any point, come back to them at any time as well if you need to use any of the words on them. So I'm just going to flick through them now for you.
And that is everything for today's lesson. Hopefully you've created a fantastic word bank for one of the 4 planets, which is Mars, Venus, Jupiter and Neptune. And I can't wait to see all the words you've included when you send them into our Year 5 email. Stay safe and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.